Hello, movie lovers. We are the Hilsmaniacs, and today we are going to be reviewing and talking about what we think is the funniest movie of all time. I'm going to be joined by Clay, and we're going to discuss this. It is, of course, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So let's talk Monty Python and the HG, shall we?
The
The
HG.
HG. Yeah, so
Yes.
basically, if you've never seen this movie, it's a spoof of like the adventures of King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table trying to look for the Holy Grail. But like everything in this movie is just completely not even like close to like I guess
Historically accurate, if you will.
historic
Yeah.
accuracy. It's meant to be. The entire thing is like everything they say and do is a spoof. It's made by the people. The reason it's called Monty Python and the Holy Grail is it's a comedy group known as Monty Python.
Right.
This movie came out in like the 70s, 1970s, I think. So it's an older
Somewhere in there.
movie, but we enjoy watching it. It's like super hilarious and stupid and funny and everything.
It's one of those movies that holds up with comedy. Like I've watched it so many times now that I know what's gonna happen, but it's still really hilarious when it happens. No matter how many times you watch it, it's still really funny. And the best part is you catch stuff that you might have missed in previous times when you like if you
I
didn't understand what something meant and then you rewatch it, you might understand what it means now. So it's
I know I have. Because it's like if you're like doing something else while you're watching this, and you miss a one liner or something, you like miss a whole
right.
joke because it's so quick and on it just like that. There's like the characters' names, some of these, or the stories that they give to each of the like the there's Sir Galahad, Sir not appearing in this film is one.
That's
That's our
my
favorite
favorite.
character. uh, Sir Lancelot, all of them, and it gives you like little side stories about them. But the whole movie is just a complete spoof. It's hilarious. I call it SpongeBob funny because it's like the stupid stuff that happens and it doesn't
Yes.
really affect anything else later on.
Yes.
Like nothing they do.
There's scenes in it where like somebody should have been killed and isn't. There's battle scenes that are
Things landing on
hilarious.
them.
There's
Yeah.
people like taunting each other, calling each other names. There's
hmm
just all kinds of like funny crap that happens in this
And
movie.
the best part is that it's basically there's only like about six people, like the main people in this
Right.
movie. In the group Monty Python, there's like six of them, and they play like all the different parts. Not every part.
Right.
Like there are some other people in it to fill in like the women and stuff. It's mostly men in the group. So but like them, you see them in one scene, like one of the guy who plays King Arthur, and then he's like another knight later on or something. It's so that's what makes it even stranger and funnier. See them in a different role later on. You're like, hey, there, that was him from earlier.
Yeah. And I
It's
love when they like re-show characters or like acknowledge that they ran into somebody before, like the bridge keeper that they see later on in the closer to the end of the film. They saw him earlier and they actually call out, that's the old man from scene 24. Like they just say scene
yeah,
24
like the
in
title of
the
that scene
movie.
was Scene
Like
24. Yes, they
like
basically
it's
break
like
the
a
fourth wall a
Deadpool type
couple
of
times.
thing, like
Yeah.
they know they're in a movie now. Like and there's just random stuff. I mean, you have there's just random names. The one dude forgot his name when they were filming, so he just spitballed a
Made
name,
up
and it was
something.
hilarious, and it actually
Yeah.
worked for the movie. So,
And you can
you know,
tell some of the stuff that was probably like improvised too,
right?
like and it wasn't supposed to be, but they left it in because this is the kind of movie where you don't need to edit anything. It sort of seems
Yes,
like it would all just because
it's
it's
just
meant to be
yeah,
stupid anyway. So if somebody says
right.
something stupid or anything like that, there's a lot of weird stuff. Like there's even animations and stuff. Like a couple
Yes,
random animated things are thrown into this movie. The beginning credits have funny stuff in them. Like it talks about like some llamas or something.
right.
Like under it says the names of the people who made the movie, and then like underneath it's got all these messages about different stuff. The whole thing from beginning to end is just hilarious. There's an intermission in the middle for like
They
five
ride
seconds.
horses. by banging two coconuts together and galloping like they're doing Gangnam Style. Like,
Yeah, so I'm
you know,
guessing that means they couldn't afford horses for the shoot, so they take coconut. So all of them, when they look like they're riding on horses, they're just banging coconuts
and
together the whole
and and
time.
just
And
just
somebody actually called them out on that
just
in the
galloping.
movie too, like
Yeah.
one of the
Right at the
knights or
beginning,
something.
full on just says you've
You're
got two
banging
empty
two
coconuts and you're
coconuts.
banging them together. Like,
Oh, and there's a
it's
lot.
just
We still
hilarious.
quote. There are so many memorable, funny quotes from this movie too,
Yes.
and like we say them all the time because they're so hilarious. It's just so memorable. You can't even like not. You will not laugh if like you won't be able to
Yeah.
stop laughing if you watch this movie. That's how stupid and funny it is. And if you don't laugh at least one thing in this movie, you probably have no soul inside
Yes.
because it's so funny that
even
it's
if
not much more
even
to
if
say
it you're
about it.
not even if you're not a fan of this kind of movie, like this weird like British comedy humor type,
Yeah,
weird stuff. It's hilarious. If you get past that and you look at it as just a movie, it is hilarious as a movie. Don't think
right.
of it as it being a comedy movie. Just think of it as being a movie, and you will laugh.
And there's nothing even
You
to
know,
like
so
um sort of take away from like there's no real plot I mean, I guess the
right,
plot is just them trying to get to the find the Holy Grail, but throughout the whole thing random stuff happens along the way that what they have to do other stuff and all it's there's nothing really that it's not meant to be like a serious movie. So like everything that happens is basically a mistake, and you're not supposed to look at it as like, oh, that was a that wasn't supposed to happen, or that was like a plot hole or anything like that, because the whole movie itself is basically a plot hole
right,
because nothing makes sense and it's not supposed to. That's the best part. And even better is like Monty Python. They've done other movies too. It wasn't
right.
just the Holy Grail, but this is the one we've seen the most. This is like the
It's the
first one we
funniest
saw,
one in my opinion.
and you'll never see anything like this again. I don't think. Like even I mean you could argue like the movie Holmes and Watson, which a lot of people hated. Um, I felt it was kind of the same thing, except with like Sherlock Holmes characters instead of
Right.
like the old
I
King
mean, and
Arthur and that. But
I've said that on this channel before. Even during my DVD collection, which if you haven't watched that, go check it out. Um, I've said that Holmes and Watson is one of the funniest movies I've ever watched, and I died laughing, and I still do. Well, Monty Python to me is even funnier than that.
you just laugh through the whole movie.
Like, I
You
don't
know,
know if it's because we watched it first when we were younger, and then just kind of, and
and
we didn't necessarily understand it until we got older, and then we're like, oh, it's even funnier now. But
and
you
oh
know,
yeah, and
it's
yeah,
just
it is. It's one of those things. It's inappropriate funny too. Like there's a lot of
right,
adult humor in this as well, not just for kids. Like things they say and all this stuff. There's
right,
like sexual stuff in there and things like that. So it is one of those that's more for adults, and adults would probably understand more of the comedic stuff about it.
right.
But it's just like the whole thing is hilarious. I can't stop laughing just thinking about the movie because we know it like we don't even have to watch it ever again and we would remember the whole movie.
I mean,
That's how funny
we
it
did
is.
watch it again last night just so it would be fresh in our heads. But
Yeah,
hey,
but
we can pretty much quote the whole thing anyways. Because we've seen it so much. And for a movie that came out so long ago, you figure after a while it would die off and not be funny anymore. Or people wouldn't want to watch it or something. But that's the complete
I
opposite with this. This is one of those movies that it's a classic and it's gonna be around for a while. At least I hope so, because it's
I don't know
hilarious.
how many people are actually still watching it to this day. I don't know if it's like a cult classic type thing or if it's just like we're the only two that watch it, whatever. But it is on DVD and stuff too. It used to be. Did it used to be on VHS or did you just get it on DVD?
I don't know if it was on VHS or not, but I know we
It is
have it
it
on
is
DVD
available
now.
on DVD and stuff. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Yes, yes,
If I were to
definitely.
rank this movie, I'd give it probably a 5 out of 5 just for how hilarious because it is what it is meant to be. It was a comedy that doesn't try to be anything else. Like
Right.
it didn't try to be. It wasn't a comedy that turns into a serious King Arthur film.
Or vice
Like with
versa.
yeah, it was a comedy the whole way through,
Right.
as it's advertised. You can tell from just the opening credits. Like I said, it's meant to be a comedy and a spoof and everything else, which is what all their movies are, I guess. So I'd give
Right.
it a 5 out of 5 just on that factor. It's not the best
I
movie ever
think
made, but
if I'm ranking it on a scale of 1 to 5, it's a 10 for me.
on the
Because
hilarity
it's just
factor,
yes, it is. I mean, it is
yeah.
just so freaking funny that and we can't. It's hard to explain how funny it is without giving
Without
away the
giving it,
movie.
yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And if you are at a younger age, definitely make sure you have your parents' permission before watching it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're an adult and want to watch it, go do it, because if you need a good laugh, this movie will definitely help you laugh.
Oh yeah, for
You will
sure.
not stop laughing throughout this movie.
And
There's a knight in this movie that gets all his limbs chopped off and is still trying to fight, and it is just hilarious. He's a
yeah,
bloody stump on the ground, and he's still insulting King Arthur. So, it's I mean, it's just crap like this. Like that would normally kill somebody if they got
but they yeah,
everything
but they
below
don't
the
die.
waist chopped
Yeah.
off, and he's just sitting there as a bloody stump. Like,
That's what I said. It's just like on
you know,
SpongeBob. Like if
it's
something heavy lands on SpongeBob or
right.
Patrick and they don't die from it, they just get back
Which
up and
also
it's
happens in
like a
this movie.
cartoon. Yeah.
Heavy stuff
But
lands on people.
and the fact that they mixed in some random like animated stuff too, it
Yeah,
just
for no
makes it
reason
really
that didn't
weird.
need to be there.
Yeah.
You know, just
And then yeah, I don't know, but it is hilarious and funny. If like he said, if you're looking for something funny to watch, and with everything going on in the world right now and stuff, check out Monty Python and the Holy Grail. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on DVD, like we said. Um, so that's our review of Monty Python. If you have seen it, let us know in the comments. What was your favorite scene from the movie, or your favorite like quote from the movie, because there's so many. Like everything in that movie is a quote pretty much, so you can quote anything from it. Um, and be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. We love doing reviews of our favorite movies and
yes,
stuff. We kind of started a series on the different um, highest grossing films and stuff like that. So go check that out if you haven't seen those too as
yes.
well. And thank you for watching, everyone.
And before we go, I just want everybody to remember: if someone weighs the same as a duck, they're made of wood, and that makes them a witch. Goodbye.
Subscribe.